All right, welcome everybody to Private Lender Interview Series. Today, I'm very honored and privileged to invite Vivian to our call. Vivian, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Thank you for having me.
Great. So we're just going to get into this. So you are on here, obviously, because you're an experienced private lender. And so I'd just like for you to kind of tell everybody kind of what's your background and what first interested you in becoming a private lender.
Well, I had never heard of private lender before. It was a option that was foreign to me, and I was excited. I was intrigued when I got into real estate, and I went to one of Brant's meetings, and he started talking about being a private lender, and so I was excited. I didn't know that option was ever available. It seemed very interesting, but before that, I'm talking about being a private lender. I was more interested in the man, in the person, in his integrity. And several things got my attention. And the first thing that got my attention was that he used the word guarantee. I had been taught in my real estate school never, by all the instructors, never to use the word guarantee. And so when he used that word guarantee, that really perked up my ears. And the other thing that really caught my attention.
How did I use the word guarantee? Because I usually don't use the word guarantee.
Yeah, you said that. Let's see, how did you say that? You said that, all the deals that you have made with your lenders, that you have paid them, or you have your agreement with them, you have held 100%, and you have never let a lender down. Whatever you guys agreed upon, then you came through with that agreement. But not the deals may not have made money all the time, but whatever you promised your lender, you gave them what you all promised.
Yes. And that is true. Trust me, I've lost some money on some deals. Mm-hmm. And so my lenders never knew about it. That was my loss, not theirs. They got every penny. And yeah, we've paid back a lot of mortgages. I think 10,000 plus mortgages. We've never missed one. Now, maybe when I use the word guarantee, here's what I will say sometimes, because SEC guidelines, things like that, you're never going to hear me going around speaking, promoting, yeah, I'll guarantee we're going to perform and all this is going to be great. I can't do that. I actually, on several of my pages, we disclose all these things could go bad when you're a private lender, like I talk about in the book. But what I do mention sometimes is I do offer, and this is a nuance, is that in our loan documents, we do offer a personal guarantee. And that's something that a lot of investors don't do. And this is really, I'm glad you brought that up. So it's really good training and information for someone looking to get started, is your borrower offering a personal guarantee. And that's just a loan document. It's a document in the loan doc set, which basically says, hey, if things go wrong, I know you're loaning to my company, for example, if you're loaning to my LLC, like you loaned to my LLC, here's a document that says a personal guarantee. What that means is that you can sue me personally, right? That you can come after me to get to recoup any losses that you have in that deal. Because a lot of times if it's in an LLC, that's a shield of protection where you can sue the LLC. The LLC could be bankrupt for all you know, a lender knows. So you can't come after the person personally. And I don't do that. We say, here's a personal guarantee saying you can come after me because I'm going to honor my word. And if I'll speak on this real quick since you brought it up, and I think it's really important. There's an investor that I highly look up to. This person in the world of real estate. He's done a lot of deals and considered him my early mentor when I was getting started. And then many years later, we were doing an event together and this topic came up, and he's like, I don't do personal guarantees. And I was like, how come? He's like, because I don't have to. It was basically kind of a smug, kind of arrogant attitude, and he's like, why should I? He's like, I've been doing this all these years. He's like, I always perform. And if something happens to me, they can get the property back. He's like, that should be enough. And if it's not, so be it. And I was like, man, that's just not the right attitude, and not an attitude I choose to take on. So I'm glad you brought that up, Vivian, because it is important that investors stand by their product, right? Which is that investment, and offer a personal guarantee. So that is really important. So share, with people kind of like what was your any lessons that you've learned so far, experiences that you've had.
Well, of course, I took a leap of faith because I had never done it before, but I felt comfortable with the person that I was lending to. And I felt like I was lending to a person that, because I heard you speak at several presentations at several places, several times, and I felt comfortable with you. I felt like you were a man of integrity. And so when it came to the opportunity for me to be able to do that, to lend, I leaped at it because, first of all, I felt comfortable with the person. And then, but since then, after I went through the process, it's just been wonderful. You know, I get my check every month. So it's just been an easy transition. It's been an easy transaction. The process was very smooth. I spoke to your people and they set me up and they helped me through the process. And I mean, you know, what the rubber has met the road as far as knowing that this was the right action for me, and it has been a great deal for me, is when my daughter, when I told her about it, she was vehemently against it. But after she saw what was happening and that I was getting money into my account every month, then she started, you know, she really perked up. And actually, to come to tell you the truth, she has now started lending money to.
Okay, that's great. Yeah.
And so that was like, okay, God, I know we're on the right track.
Okay, great. Well, so all that being said, you know, what advice would you have to someone who's maybe they just read the book, they're, you know, they're brand new, they're considering this. What advice would you give them?
Yes, first of all, I would say, you know, get educated, read the book. I got the book here. I have read the book several times. I've went over it several times because in one of your meetings, in one of your presentations, you said that never lend anything or never get into something that you don't know anything about. I got the book. I got educated. I read the book several times, but I continued to go to your meetings wherever you were. And as I began to understand the process and I vet you as a person, then those are the two things that I think most people need to do in order to decide whether or not they want to get into doing private lending.
Yeah. Those are the two big ones. If you need to understand what you're investing in, and who you're investing with. You can be good on those two, you're probably good. And then you get into some of the details on how to secure the investment, the proper loan documents, deeds of trust, and all that type of stuff. Insurance, of course, loan value ratios, which we cover in the book. But Vivian, I just want to say thank you for coming on, taking your time and sharing your experiences with others. I know I appreciate it, and I'm sure others will as well that are watching this.
Yes, thank you. I would highly recommend people to do it because I want to educate people about it. I think it's an option that most people don't know about. And I want people to know about this option. This option will not only help you as a lender, but it also is a blessing to others, to other people, to the community, and to the people that, you know, work in our community right here in the place where we live. So I really want to get the word out. Really, because I really believe in it and I trust the process.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.